For more on Angola, I'm joined live via Skype from Washington by VOA Portuguese reporter João Santa Rita. João, Thursday was such a big day in Angola. Tell us what President Lorenzo is going to do differently in his second term.
Well, thank you for having me. That's the big question. His speech basically was a speech in which he made a lot of promises regarding economic development. He pointed to a lot of infrastructure projects, which, by the way, had already been announced before or already underway, refineries in different parts of the country, construction of a port in Cabinda. He promised also to gear the economic policy towards the youth. The unemployment amongst the youth is huge, and the MPLA has been losing support amongst the youth, mainly in the urban areas. But I can't say there is anything particularly striking in this speech that was different from promises made before. We've already had some reactions, and this was exactly what it was pointed out by political parties in the opposition and leaders of civil society organizations. Mm-hmm. They hope that the president will concentrate a lot on social aspects because the situation is dire in certain parts of the country.
Now, João, there's news about women being in power in Angola. You now have the first female vice president, Esperanza da Costa. What can you tell us about her?
Well, the new vice president is a biologist, so it's not very often that we have a biologist as on the top echelons of power, and indeed it's like you say, that's really a change, because what you have now after the president, you have her as vice president, so she's in line of succession. And then after her, you have the president of the National Assembly, which is third in line for succession, and that's a former journalist. Her name is Carolina Cerqueira. And then we have also the third in line for succession, which is the president of the Constitutional Court. So the president of the Constitutional Court, Laurinda Cardoso, she was appointed. She has already been, in charge for a few months. So that's really a change. But and that was welcomed by a well-known activist for women's rights, Luisa Rogério, who said that this could be a turning point in the balance, let's say, in the equity between males and females in power in Angola.
And from however, what you know, João, does this signify a change in terms of how the government of Angola includes women in positions of power, and what should the younger women expect in the coming years?
Well, I think this is let's say a practical conclusion of promises that the president has made in the past to include more women in the structures of power. So I think this is a window of opportunity for young women. But, we contacted the opposition. They were happy about this, that João Lourenço is appointing women. But they pointed out, perhaps rightly, that the problem in Angola is not just of having more women, is what these women are going to do. And so that's the question. These are obviously women who are aligned with the MPLA party. So for the opposition, this is not a big development, although it's a development.